a lot or whatever. That's how it goes.
I already know, man. Same old, man. Just
It's
trying
another
to.
week.
I know, right? My thing is like right now, man. It's like, you ever get to that point, especially like when you're building. I'm sure you definitely got to where it's like you feel like you've done everything, or you're sitting around. It's like you kind of delegated a lot of the things that you need to get done, or you're at a stage where it's really just time that has to pass for those things to either come along or get done. It's just like I hate waiting. Like
Mhm.
I feel like I'm not doing anything because like right now with some of the things I'm like, okay, like I'm just really just having conversations, just trying to validate, product and ideas, and it's just like, okay, where's the the reward from it? It's like, okay, yeah, I'm just going out here and talking, or meetings and this, and it's just like just in that constant, almost, it's like the entrepreneurial rat race. You know what I mean? It's like just constantly trying to build value and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's been a interesting couple weeks, I would say, but it's a day in
I,
life.
for what it's worth, I definitely feel that there have been, Playhouse has been around for like 3.5 years now. It wasn't always called Playhouse, right? And there were like two or three different points where I was convinced I had the exact pitch, the exact message, everything, and I was honing in on it. But then investors really start throwing you curveballs again and push back. And yeah, it's a fucking journey. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, and I think that's one thing is especially in the tech space, it's like you build something, you think it's good, then especially over the last, like I said, being in tech for the last 2 years is probably one of the craziest things you could try to do, because literally if you build something for 1 year, it's obsolete the next year, or in this case almost 6 months, or sometimes even 6 weeks.
Right.
And it's like trying to stay ahead of that and stay sane at the same time. It's like, man, it's some wild stuff. So no, I definitely hear you on that, man, especially like you said, like having to constantly pivot.
Yeah, and well, and knowing when to pivot too, because like I've only pivoted 3 times, which that's a lot of pivots at the same time. I've been doing this for a while. It took me a lot to before I came to the decision it was time to pivot. Like I didn't want to because I was like I've been working on this for so long,
Yeah.
like it feels like I'm throwing away efforts. But then you realize that a lot of what you were doing was laying the foundation for the next thing, and you have a lot of the right things in place or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, everyone's like, there is no easy money right now. And to your point, like, yes, technology is changing crazy, crazy fast. And the challenge really, it's not even to keep up with it. It's more so to understand, okay, it's generally going this direction and it can generally do this. And then over here is a problem I actually know how to solve and to make money. Where do those things collide?
Yep. That's literally what the next few years are going to be with like technology. It's like trying to create the new technologies. It's not a feasible thing. You need to, like you said, find a problem that can be solved with this continually upgrading technology, and just ride the
Mm-hmm.
wave.
And that's all investors will give you money for too. It's like, oh, cool technology idea, but how do I make money off of it? So, they're like, show me you can make money first, and then I'll believe you on that cool fancy idea. But then you got to use the money you're making from the money you started making with the money I gave you to build it. I'm not going to give you more money.
Yeah.
Like
Which is,
that's their game.
and that's the thing, is just like, it's interesting, just from, like I said, you had the UMKC class where, we pitched, for the VCs and stuff like that, which, like you said, when you have those pitches and you say your idea and you hear these people that, in this case, it wasn't, for money at the time, but from their perspective of, how they think, it is that mentality of, now it's like you're not building that problem just to, oh yeah, like you're talking to your friend, what if we came up with this cool idea to do this thing, and there's no like plan to it or anything like that. But one of the things that like the VC said is like, I'll speak, from my side of things, is one of the things that are like, well, we like the app, but the greenhouse thing might be more, doable. And I was like, shit. I mean, yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like I
Doable is
literally been
relative
gearing that.
too. That guy probably has money where the greenhouse thing is doable for him, but it's like software is cheaper than hardware. So like
Yeah,
doable is relative.
exactly. So that's the thing is just like hearing that, but then more or less putting a pin in it. Like, okay, I'll listen to that, and the other guy that talked about distribution, and
Yeah.
basically it was like again, you got to be ready for those questions, and stuff like that. Which, like I said, it's good practice because you kind of get into that, not trying to talk over their points or things like that, or always try to make it seem like you're right. Just be like, yes. I think it was one social media post was like saying yes and instead of yes but. That
Yeah.
kind of thing kind of changes when you're talking with a lot of those people. So yeah, it was just really interesting to just kind of go through that whole process and get feedback, and hear people that even though money wasn't involved, they kind of know that how that whole process usually goes.
Yeah, those were definitely some really qualified people to give us feedback. Some of the most qualified panelists I've encountered in some of these judging. So I was kind of surprised they were in our class, but like at the same time, I was super pumped because I mean, I was sharing the screen real quick because like investors don't give feedback like this. Um,
Mm,
uh, and so it's really rare that we're able to get something so clear, is
yeah,
what I'm trying to say. Because, like I said, I've been pitching the same idea for 3 years. The go to market is where I'm pivoting. The
yeah,
branding is what I'm pivoting, but like the technology solution and why I'm doing it, that remains the same.
yep,
And, I have had a lot of great conversations with people who are like, oh, this is really interesting. This is really promising. It makes a whole lot of sense, and then they'll be like, talk to me when you're generating this amount of revenue.
mm,
Right. And I'm like, okay. Like, yeah, that's pretty normal. They're like an idea. Now, can you go execute on generating revenue? Because they're not going to give you money if you don't know how to make money.
yep,
And that's something I think people underestimate in entrepreneurship. They're like, oh, I can just pitch the idea and get money. And it's like, no, you usually have to do a lot more than that.
exactly. Specifically, like what you said, it's like it's almost like a down payment on a house. It's like if you can bring like 20% to the table, we'll bring the other 80.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just like that. And a lot of times, us as entrepreneurs, we get so caught up in the, oh well, they didn't like my idea, or it's like, no, it's like you haven't done anything yet. Like
Mm-hmm.
you
And
literally wrote it on a go
even
ahead.
if you have done stuff, right? The
Yeah,
investor's like, I didn't see the time that you spent doing those things. I want to see you invest over time.
yeah,
That's the other thing is like building trust, like Versi was talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, that's just like there's no way to fast track that. That's
yep.
simply just being in conversation with people with the same idea for long enough.
Yeah, and especially like you said, like with projects that we're kind of building, we're predicated on trust. I'm trying to build the trust with the farming community, and you're trying to build the trust of, like I said, all small business, medium business community that
Mhm.
right now doesn't have much trust on where their data is, or doesn't have much trust on how their information is collected or used. And then now being able to put that power back in their hands the same way, like I said, I'm trying to do with the farmers to put their power back in their hands. Which I actually saw this crazy this video. This lady was talking about how in Oregon they're basically like choking out farmers more or less, like due to
Yeah,
like water restrictions and some other stuff for small
yeah,
farmers. It's crazy out on the West Coast.
yeah. I mean, the water rights thing is crazy because they're talking about trying to build a pipeline to pipe Great Lakes water all the way out to the West Coast.
From the what?
Yeah, they want to use the Great Lakes to water and irrigate the West Coast and build a pipeline. Yeah,
Hold on. Isn't there water by the West Coast?
not fresh water.
So now this is the thing I was talking to somebody about because, and not to go down the rabbit hole, but I was looking into the prospects of how you could use the heat from Bitcoin mining to purify water.
Hmm.
And essentially, you could just Bitcoin mine, and then you would just use that excess heat to just basically either boil or purify your water. So then now, like, either the sediment or whatever fuck will just basically come out of it. Now, I don't know how much would take to do that, but at the same time, too, you're going to have a lot of excess heat. But I think that would probably be, not to say more feasible, because then again, I'm not a economic person on this kind of scale, but to put a pipeline from up north all the way to the West Coast, how long is that going to take?
The building or the transport or what? Like all of it's kind
The
of
whole
stupid.
thing, like that's why it's like I feel like by the time it gets done, you could have just purified water that was right next to you.
Well, it's not water pure. Well, it's specifically desalination, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like very, very energy intensive to desalinate water. And so they have a lot of salt water around them, but they don't have fresh water. And
So
it's not like the water quality is an issue. It's like the water they have access to is salt water. So you have to change it to regular water first. And that is the part that's expensive.
So now you got me thinking now, because like my main thing is like whenever I hear anything energy intensive, I obviously go straight to like, okay, if it's energy intensive, what can I tie it to make it now change the incentive? Which,
Mm-hmm.
because if we're using, because renewable energy, I'm assuming, would be best to be most cost effective. But the issue of renewable energy is how much renewable energy are you going to be able to produce, and how much is it going to cost to make that array of wind or solar or whatever is going to be to make it cost effective over time.
So when it comes to desalination, the energy is intense, but you can do desalination with just like the sun and glass.
Mm,
But the problem is the toxic byproducts, like the salts and the sediments that you separate from the water, are
mm.
actually really harmful and waste material.
Now you got me. You see, now you got me going down like an AI. I'm low key. I want to go down like a ChatGPT rabbit hole of like how, because I feel like we getting, as you're explaining the problems, it's like, okay, there's probably a solution. We just haven't put it there yet. So my thing is like, so if we separate the water to good water and the things that are bad, we have toxic material. Can that toxic material be used in some type of fashion or disposed of that allows us to create heat to be used again, possibly? Or not heat, because my thing is that how do we dispose of it without it being harmful in a environmental friend? What would maybe you said salt?
That's one of the main outputs.
What could use salt? That's sea salt, right? No, it's ocean salt. Or is
Yeah.
sea salt and ocean salt? Is there a difference? Like, if I started selling like ocean salt in like bottles, would people be like, "Oh, there's a difference between the two"?
Like Himalayan salt versus sea salt versus like iodized salt. Yeah, it's usually flavoring and other minerals that are in it
Mm,
that can give you better health properties and also change the flavor of it.
all right, let's see what ChatGPT, because we might be solving another worldwide problem here. Okay, so brine contains high concentrations of salt and other minerals. Okay. Yeah, because I feel like if we can use the brine, then basically we're just creating another resource. Yes, brine from desalination can be potentially used in industrial food processes, but the application requires careful consideration and treatment to ensure that brine is safe and suitable. Salt extraction, aquaculture. Holy shit! Hold on, for fish, so we can sell this to like fish companies. Dog, I think we just solved the bro. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you guys understand. This is what we are on the cusp of. Me and Dr. Business literally sat here and we're just spinballing some stuff. I threw some stuff at the wall like spaghetti. He saw the message of Jesus on the wall through the spaghetti and the sauce, And now AI is like, oh, I'm gonna turn that into the Last Supper depiction of all the apostles and everything else. Because this is what we got.
I just saw the word brine and I was like, okay, so they just have salt water as like a really, really, really concentrated salt water is the leftover of the rest of the water. Okay, what do we do with that? And I just went to pickles, to be honest. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, pickles are brined. I was like,
Mm.
can you do pickles with this at the very least? I
So
was just
then
like,
now,
pickles.
you could have like, so oh my goodness, bro. This okay, so now, right?
But then it came up with way better options when it said stuff. I was just thinking of pickles when I saw brine.
Go
That
through
was
it,
what
bro.
I was trying to
Go
share.
through it. Go through it. Let's read through it, man. Go ahead.
So basically, it was like, you're right. Yeah, you can take the brine, which is the dangerous extract or the output of. So, like, okay, so here's the process so far. We use the mining servers and we create a heat conduction thing to like a piece of metal that's sitting in the water that gets hot enough to boil the water.
Yep.
The water boils off, leaving the salt and the sediment at the bottom, and the water itself then goes up into whatever those tubes are called. Then it condenses and drips down into regular water. I don't know
Yep.
how many times it has to go through that process. I don't care. We have a lot of excess heat that we can do, right?
Yep.
But not all of it evaporates. You're left with that little pool of salty, sedimenty bullshit, right?
Yep.
At the end, that's what is the toxic waste. You can't just throw it away. You can't just whatever. Um, so we asked, can you do something in the food processing space with it? Because, like I said, pickles and brine is what I thought of when I was reading the first response.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we've got basically the fact that it thinks we can do salt extraction. Wait, no. Yeah. What does it say?
Yep. Salt
Oh,
extraction.
yeah. So it said basically we can dry it to literally create salt for food and like clean it and purify it. We can basically, like you said, sell it to like seafood or like fish.
Shit,
What are they called? Pet
aquariums.
shops.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, we could sell it to pet shops basically, and then basically people who do like industrial fish farming, they'll
Yep.
buy the salt for their water.
Yep.
And then there's food processing, which is where I was thinking of the pickles and other things that have to do with brining foods. I guess like there's a way we could. It says it could be potentially treated and diluted because it's probably too briny.
Yeah.
And then it basically last part says it says ingredient in food products. So basically anywhere where you would want to inject salt, you could use it as sort of a salt concentrate, a liquid salt concentrate. So really in every single place it's just about like adding salt to something. But like great, because that's what we mostly have is the salt output. So
holy shit.
it
I
says
think we just,
basically the biggest concern here is heavy metals in there that need to be removed.
which I mean we can put through a filter, correct? I'm assuming.
Yeah. How would you separate the heavy metals from the rest of the brine?
Yeah, but I think this might be another little venture that can be done in the greenhouses. Because then we could do this in West Coast greenhouses. Sell the water.
Yeah.
Sell the salt.
Oh, cool. We've got a membrane filtration system that we could do. The what we mostly want to avoid is, I'm guessing, chemical precipitation, because that's going to produce more byproducts and also introduce more chemicals and also,
Yeah, it's just going to be down a compounding road. We just need to just create brine, or in this case, salt.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like there's different clays that can be introduced that like attach to the metals, but not the salt or something.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, it sounds like there are still more things for us to figure out as always, because that's how the rabbit hole goes.
Exactly.
Just pulling it back for 1 second. The only reason I pulled this was up is because like they said something that no one had ever literally said to me directly, which is not sure if this is investable until the go to market is proven. The go to market makes sense and the opportunity makes sense, but it needs to be proven. Again, they're just talking about like, oh, okay, great idea. I believe this, but you need to go make money before I believe it.
Yeah.
And that's why I was talking about that earlier, is because like I've never had an investor be so direct like that.
Which, like you said, it's like with most investors, they're like, yeah, we just don't, we don't think it's a good fit. And then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, we didn't think, this was the right time.
We think you're snake oil.
And that's the thing, man. It's like, especially when it comes to feedback, I think that's one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs let their pride get in the way, and they get kind of up in arms about, they said this and that. But really, it's like, and I'm starting to get into this mindset, is that I'm preferring when I meet people and they have like a opposite thought of like my project. Like they're like when the guy said the thing about distribution, and he was talking about the top, I was kind of looking at it from a top down perspective. And I was like, I mean, hey, I haven't been in food, so like I'll definitely take listen to that, because at the end of the day, I haven't done it before. And so that's the thing. I think that a lot of, when you go to pitches and stuff like that, particularly when it comes to, building bigger projects, it's just making sure that you just listen. It's just like being coached, to be honest. That's how I see it. It's really just like being coached. Are you looking up the helium stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was even looking into that. So I was watching a couple stuff recently. So there was it was talking about how like with helium, when you have miners close to each other, like say for instance, like I'm mining and my neighbor's mining, it'll like cannibalize your profit.
Yes.
I was like, damn, that's shitty. And it was actually like I looked at the map too, and the map was pretty green in Kansas City area.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty green, I think, a lot of places. Let's see. It's pretty green where my brother lives, weirdly, too. Well, here's the good thing. It does look like Kansas City's got it going on, but relative to other cities, it doesn't look that, because here it is.
Oh yeah.
It's barely visible. Nope, that's Wichita. There's
Kansas City
City.
up there. Yep.
Kansas City is visible. I'm bad at fucking geography.
Bro, if the lines ain't on there, bro, I couldn't tell you where's where. I'm just gonna be honest. If I don't have like the elementary lines, I couldn't tell you what place is.
All right, but here we are getting into Kansas City. It does feel like it. Well, Hospital Hill's not that covered. Dope. My neighborhood's good. I'm gonna be able to buy up these spots right here, dude.
Oh shit.
This is where I shouldn't zoom in much closer than this, but yeah. There's definitely room for me to set up mining operations here, and I know you're over this way. There's definitely got to be. I mean, Mission's kind of busy, and Westport's kind of busy. Oh, that's what it is. It's like this is where everyone who's young is at, right?
Yeah, so they're probably doing their like apartments in downtown, and yeah, it makes sense. So okay, so you know what's actually interesting about this? I didn't even think about this. This kind of gives us an understanding of where Web3 is understood.
Oh, that's another good. Yeah, that's a good way to.
I never really thought about that. That this basically gives us a map on.
Ooh. Building off of that. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There's population geography like by zip codes, and I wonder if we can translate this map into basically miners by zip code, and then you can look at zip code and their income and their population relative to the number of miners they have. And then, yeah, you can do everything you said, but I think we can also identify weird cities in the country that are all Web3 that are not big cities.
Because like right now we can be able to see it's like every place that has this green shit, you're Web3 friendly, basically.
Yeah.
Because you can't have these without being no. And if you're on Helium, you're definitely down the crypto rabbit hole. You're not a newbie. You're not like a Bitcoin maxi and that's it.
Dude, I mean, the Midwest looks pretty green.
Yeah.
Granted, it's even greener in Canada. The East Coast is kind of green.
Yep. That
Florida's
mountain range
got a
area is
big
dead.
San Francisco and LA, Denver, but like so much of the country is just like not covered.
Which lets you know is that most of the country doesn't know shit about Web3, really. Oh,
Right,
well,
it's really
let me not say
just
shit about Web3, Helium in particular, but if you know about Helium, then you probably know about other cryptocurrencies.
You've got the Denver corridor right here, the Colorado corridor. It's showing up pretty bright. And then
that's where it stops.
There's like this straight line right here. Do you see that?
Huh. Is that the Web3 Trail of Dreams?
Like, what is this though?
Is it literally straight all the way? Holy
I mean,
shit.
straight is a relative word, but yeah, like look.
That's definitely, bro, that's literally all the way through that's like Grand Canyon too?
Yeah, dude, there's definitely like these lines. There's a company or there's people, there's like organizations behind the lines.
They gotta be, because there's no way you could be spread all the way through all those states.
Yeah, the lines are too straight to be organic.
Yeah, because like look up in the like that's that big spot up in Canada. Look how weird that is.
Oh, that one, yeah, that one connecting Calgary and Edmonton through what is this place called? Red Deer. Anyways, it is cool as fuck to see that. Let's see what the rest of the world looks like. You know, Europe's got a lot more going on.
Holy shit.
Oh, are those not lit up? I thought those were lit up.
Oh, so it's over here.
What is the white dot? Oh no, they are lit up. They were just lagging.
I was just like,
I was like, what
like,
are all these white splotches? But yeah, no, it's lit up as fuck in certain areas.
Bro, this is crazy. Like looking at this is nuts, because if you think about, bro, it's like literally like a neural network.
Oh, 100%. But it's crazy how much like neural networks and organic networks and like fungal networks are all kind of the same.
Yeah, mycelium, bro. Like the shit looks exactly like it.
Let's see. What's it look like down here in the Middle East? Well, we can see that northern Israel's covered. Where's that Jordan? I don't know where the line is for Israel. It's somewhere right here.
Yeah, I'm again like me, bro.
Without the lines, it's so hard.
Exactly, bro. It's like I could not even tell you where that was.
Dude, this has got to be like Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, UAE stuff over here.
That shit's lit up too.
Saudi Arabia. Dude, it is crazy that you see a little bit more of it going on over in China. You see any of it up in Russia? No.
Nothing, I don't think.
I want to check Mexico real quick also. Ooh, Guadalajara is pretty green.
Yeah.
Mexico City doesn't look nearly as big as Guadalajara.
That's crazy.
It's the largest city in North America.
That's crazy.
Anyways.
Huh. Oh, that looks crazy like that too.
That's a different way to look at this map.
I think this is how I was looking at mine. Yeah, it's like all downtown.
Yeah.
Because then now
and
it's
then
also
that's the
interesting, like what you
density
said
is
about,
how many are in the square, right?
huh?
The how many miners are in the square.
Yeah, I think so.
That's how they're doing it. Let me see.
Because you can click on it.
So looking at this differently now, there's still room for me to do a miner, but I'm going to be competing, a little bit.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Let me see about Ann Arbor real quick. Maybe I'll go put it over there. Ann Arbor looks pretty. Oh, but by my house, I'm good. I can do it.
Back home?
Our place in Ann Arbor. Our house is right here. No square right here.
Might as well.
We'll be the first one. But
That's
yeah, this is cool shit, man. I love that we're living in the future with all of it.
Bro, it's like people are literally just gonna have their internet and be getting paid off for using their extra internet.
F the miner.
Get a whole business plan on running helium.
I like to give, AI my story problems.
Exactly. I can give it all the hypotheticals.
All right.
They should let you buy helium miners with helium.
Yeah, well, I think like you have to buy them from third parties because it's basically they made a software that someone else can install on a hardware that can be sold.
Makes sense. Oh yeah, so that's the reason why they're like a DAO right now.
Yeah, people could. Ooh, we need 67 miners.
67 miners
Yeah.
to make 20K a month.
Yeah, and it would take us 70 months to do it just by buying one. Right? So,
And that's if we're making the 300.
what?
And you said that, and that's if we're making 300.
Yeah, which is on the lower end because Ryan said he makes 500, but then like the math came out to be more like 300. But yeah. So wait, real quick, what is 70 divided by 12? So basically, it would take us nearly 6 years if we were to just buy one miner and to just constantly reinvest it.
You said
So
6
years to
long
get
time.
to 20,000 in passive income from just owning miners. That's what people need to remember is like these things take time. You don't just get there right away. But like if you just take all of the money from it and put it back into itself over and over, like in 6 years, you could be literally living off $20,000 a month from literally owning these devices.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting because it's like
4 miners.
So 4 miners would cut. I'm assuming it would basically like 4x our time. So maybe 2 years.
Because 4 miners is going to cost $5,000. Look, starting with 4 miners instead of 1 changes the dynamic significantly. So here we go. It's probably going to be like a year and a half.
Which is not bad.
No.
Because then now it's like, what if we said we want to get 5?
Well, and it's also like it's realistic if someone's like, you want to raise money to buy miners to build a business where you're just basically mining helium. And the answer is like, yes, to start. That's our goal. Well, what does that look like? Well, if you invest $5,000 in our business today, in a year's time, we're going to be generating $20,000 a month from those 4 miners. And that means our business is generating $250,000 a year in revenue, which means that our business is worth somewhere between like $1 and $2.5 million from your $5,000 investment. And that is a great fucking return. And, a great investment opportunity for a lot of people. This is this is the type of business model that Warren Buffett invests in. He's like, if you can break it down this stupid for me, then I'll buy it type shit. Anyways, what did it come out to? 17 months. So a little over a year and a half.
That sounds pretty fucking good.
Right? So 4 miners is $5,000. A $5,000 investment in us means that we can do this.
Okay.
Right? What does a $10,000 investment mean? What does it look like with 8 miners?
Because now it's making me think like I could pitch like for Digital Sandbox, like literally pitching for the 20K and be like, I want to buy miners.
Right. But they don't let you buy hardware with the Digital Sandbox money.
True.
That's
but
the
they
problem.
give the money to a tech business that does whatever they want to with it. It just has to go to a tech business.
It has to deliver you with a product that you can take to market.
True.
That's the problem.
So this would probably be from like an outside investor.
Yeah, but this is the type of investment model that someone like Heidi actually values and would buy into with her family office. It's very, very small, tightly scoped, clear mechanics. You buy the hardware, you set it up, the costs are energy and just maintaining them, which are minimal. And then you're just reinvesting the profits to grow the base operations to a specific point. And then you're going to say, we collect dividends and pay it out. And that's it. And that's a cash flowing business that family offices love to look for.
Yeah. Because they're just, like I said, they're just looking for
money printers. This is a money printer business that requires little effort.
Yeah. And in this case, too, like you said, if we're just taking, because I don't know how much excess heat these miners produce, because I don't think they do produce anything. Yeah. So
there won't be a green angle with this one, but this one is basically like, hey, can I build my credibility as a business that is selling basically mining services, right? You're starting with a small miner not because you don't want to go after the big stuff, but because you don't have a proven track record for investors to give you more money. So you're scaling it down saying, hey, I can build a good business mining this small shitty thing, which is great because it's a good business. But once I prove out that I'm good at mining this one thing, I can mine anything. You should give me money to go mine this bigger idea.
Yeah.
It's with investors, it's always that dance.
And then especially too, like in this case, you would just have internet, like say for instance at the greenhouse, you would just have internet that it would just basically feed off of and then just go from there. So you just have a simple Wi-Fi set up and then you would just basically just broadcast your extra internet. That's it.
Absolutely. I think that's the other thing is so Rich, this is how it works in the produce matrix also. You'll notice on that map we didn't have a lot of rural areas covered. What do we do?
Shit.
We go to the farmers, and when we're selling them produce matrix, we bundle the miner with them and say, hey, we'll subsidize the cost of your subscription if you let us install this this Wi-Fi solution here, and we'll even pay you some amount of rights for it, or like that's what subsidized the cost. Do you know what the monthly revenue would be if we started with 8 miners and a $10,000 investment? That's a $1 million a year business there, baby.
8 with just 8 miners.
Yeah. Well, if we started with 8 miners,
Started with 8 miners and just reinvested everything back into the business,
we would get to 355 miners in 17 months, a year and a half. And
that's not even accounting for it's like if we're like constantly buying mine, I feel like we could be able to develop some type of relationship to where we could get miners for even cheaper.
Well, right. Well, so that's when we were able to pull from a salary. This can employ what, like 10 people monthly?
Probably. Yeah.
Right? Very comfortably, very well. And so this would be like, hey, let's hire David Overholt to build us an IoT miner that is like, cheaper.
Yeah.
Because he knows how to use Arduinos and sensors and antennas and whatever to build things like that shit. But like I don't, but he does. So you'd have to hire someone like him to build, something that's cheaper than the $1,100 thing that Ryan can buy for us.
Yeah.
But we also have to decide, does it make sense to have David develop this for us? How much cheaper can we get it once he's made it? Okay, if that is the case, great. Then now we get to go out and sell these to other people who want to be miners. And now we're in a different business completely. Not a bad situation to be in, but at $1,100 a miner, it's less than 1% of our monthly revenue at that point to buy another miner. So it's the more miners we start with, it could be exponential growth, basically. This is like Bitcoin mining, though.
Shit. Yeah, no, because especially with like the helium stuff, is that I feel like helium mining alongside the Bitcoin mining down the road too is gonna obviously because there's gonna be internet at all these greenhouses, at every single one of them. So why not get paid for the extra internet that they're probably not using? So my thing is so I'm looking at the number. So to make 300 a month, that means from one miner. Did he say 300 a month from one miner?
Yes, $300 a month from one miner. Yep.
So that's $10 a day.
Must be
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's 30 days in a month roughly. So
how many? Because I'm just trying to do the math on, okay, if helium's because I'm trying to do like a worst case scenario. Like, let's say, for instance, helium drops.
Right.
Because that's why I'm also
helium is more likely to moon in the next 6 months, but it's not going to drop from it's hovering at $6 to $8. It's probably never going to be lower than $5 again.
Okay, so that was my thought was, okay, one, what is it at? Two,
last cycle it went to $50
because it's still on supply and demand on the token side on the back end.
Yeah, the high end about it. Yeah, the helium of last cycle got as high as $50. So that would really change the cost mechanics like crazy. We would make 10x what we'd be right. But that's exactly why this makes the most sense, because this is one of the cheapest ways to get into mining that's profitable. There's a very clear map for where you can make money and like how to make money, and also just like it's not that expensive to get it started. Like $10,000 is still expensive. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't have $10,000 lying around.
And now let me ask you this question, because now you got me thinking: what if on the produce matrix we accepted helium tokens as well?
Yeah.
Because now if we can add use cases, have merch and these things like that, like I said, focusing around helium and bringing utility to helium, whether it's NFTs on Sol, and then we accept helium. Now what we do is we start getting other people to want to, just like how you did with milk. It's like, shit. When people start seeing that, it becomes like I said, it becomes a meme coin, but it's a meme coin with a utility.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's like we could literally say, okay, we're mining helium. Helium does this, but we also accept helium for merch, for produce, and all these different type of things. Maybe, like I said, maybe you want to get into mining. We'll take your helium as a down payment, and we'll send you one of these, like I said, manufactured miners that like you said that possibly David could put together.
Mm-hmm.
Which told, bro. And then now it's like if helium's at a certain amount, dang, bro, crypto is gonna change how everything is done. Like every time I think that I kind of get this shit, it's like we're so early, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally sitting here and like as I said that, I'm like, bro, that's literally selling internet coins.
Yeah. But like, it's not just internet coins, right?
It's not. That's the thing. It's money. It's internet coins. It's whatever the hell we end up stake. Oh, you can stake. I'm assuming that you could probably stake your helium.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell, man? Dude, I don't even know. I'm just gonna be honest, man. Like, there's no such. Not to say there's no such thing, but like being an expert in this Web3 shit, I think is like it's a lie to yourself because this shit changes every day, bro.
Dude, no one can be an expert, and like anyone who says they are is a fucking charlatan, liar, whatever you want to call it. Like Stoned Alpha and I were going back and forth on Twitter a little bit, and you know essentially I was he's asking really great questions on fully homomorphic encryption. I was just like, I don't want to come out like as ignorant or anything, but like this is on the bounds of what I've actually understood or like where I'm at right now. And like I didn't want to come across like, oh my God, I'm pitching this company idea and that wants to involve this technology solution, but I don't know anything about it or anything. And it's like
Exactly.
I know a little bit about it, but I don't have enough money or time to learn a lot more about it. And I
Yeah.
also know I need to work with smarter people who are already working in this field because that's not my expertise.
And
Anyway, so I shared that with him. And, what I love about Web3 is like the moment you're like vulnerable and willing to say, like, I don't fully know something, I'm just learning, the
yep.
other person or everyone else is like, oh, yo, bro, same. Like, sorry if I'm coming across really aggressive. Like, oh, I'm just trying to pick your brain and understand it too. And, it's like we're all just nerding out and
Exactly.
figuring it out. But
And they
anyone who
usually they'll refer you to something like, oh, read this book or this article, and then it's like, oh
exactly.
shit, because like I have that all the time, especially like when AJ goes like into his deep dives with like AI. I'll be like, bro, I have like I remember months ago, he was like, oh, actually maybe a year or two. Shit, damn, it's been a long time. I can't even tell now at this point. But it's like he was talking about like zero proof knowledge and all this other stuff. And I was like, bro, I have no clue what the hell it is. That sounds dope. But I told him straight up, I was like, I don't even know what the hell that is. A lot of times people will come to me like, oh, have you seen this new protocol? Have you seen the new protocol on Ethereum? I'm like, bro, no. And they're like, oh, aren't you supposed to? I'm like, if I knew every fucking thing in this shit, I wouldn't be talking to you for free.
Right?
Like, I would not be sitting here talking to you for free if I knew every protocol, every new smart contract that comes out. Like, that's why you cannot be an expert in this stuff, dog. Mm. Huh. So helium. So basically, now what I should maybe do is get a small little thing of land, get a little greenhouse, put in that greenhouse uh helium miners and just hydroponic setup. Very small, very basic. No different from me grabbing a couple of these hydroponic pods or hydroponic towers, throwing them in a room. No excess heat, just the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And then now,
It's literally just the mining part of the business. Just can you do that part first? Is always what they're pushing for.
if like you said, which is easy, is just plugging up some shit and letting it do its thing, and make sure you have enough to pay your electricity bill and your internet bill. That's it.
100%.
So then now, this might be this might be the most cost effective way to go about this.
See, look, basically, look at the way the model changes here. With one miner, it takes us 7 months to get to $1,000 a month. It takes us a year and a half to get to $10,000 a month with one miner. With two miners, we get to 1,000 in 4 months. We get to 10,000 only 3 months faster. So it's really not that much of an improvement. Going to four, though, we get to 10,000 in less than a year. We get to 1,000 immediately.
Yep. So 4 miners is a starting point, basically.
Right. And basically, what we get to talk to with the investors is which one of these monthly recurring revenues looks good enough for you to stop and sort of rest on the laurels from this core business model and just pocket the cash flow. Because you don't need to keep growing exponentially. There's a certain point where it's like, I can only manage and maintain this number of devices within a geographical region and supply internet to them and, whatever. Because like those are like the little details that we're not including in the model here. But which monthly payout looks good enough for the work that goes into this? And it's somewhere, probably right around here.
So what if we look at put it in to see if what if we did 10? What if we started with 10? Because 10 would be like, let's say we were able to get it each one for $1,000.
Yeah.
So $10,000.
Yeah. So if we start with 10 miners, which is a cost of $10,000, we would start immediately earning $3,000 a month, which means we'll have paid it back after month 3, roughly.
So that might be in the best number, to be honest.
Yeah, well, maybe we actually go for a small business loan for this.
That's what I'm saying, bro, to be honest.
Because this is a really simple, easy small business loan model, maybe. We should not even present it as crypto to the bank and just say that we're building hardware and infrastructure for computing and hosting services. There's a company named Helium that's looking for contractors to build their network out. They have the monthly pay rate of this per device. We think that we can build the sustainable businesses if we're able to buy 10 devices. So that's what we want this loan of $10,000 for. We don't have to really market it. We don't have to do a whole lot beyond that. But we should probably get a little bit more money than the 10,000 to kind of like
float
whatever.
Yeah.
Massage some stuff. But like, yeah, at 10 miners, we get to, in half a year, in 6 months, we're making 10K a month just from reinvesting. And, probably somewhere after the first year when we're pocketing, whatever, the business doesn't really scale up beyond this with this particular mining operation.
Yeah.
But we're generating enough money where it's like, if we didn't use all of the money we'd earn to go buy more miners like this model assumes, it's like every time we're investing all our money, after 1 year, let's stop doing it. We're going to have somewhere between 120 and 140 miners, and we're going to be able to generate somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000 a month. It's like,
that's like fact.
For 1 year, you and I can both just take home 20K paychecks a month or 15K paychecks a month and then pay out 5K or 10K to the investor and then just stop. We don't buy any more miners. Why would we? Type mindset. Like,
yeah.
And then you can just take all the money from that and go start, the Bitcoin mining business, or this is the business that you're like, okay, with all this cash flow, how do we diversify? How do we reinvest this cash flow? And we get into Bitcoin mining, Solana validation, building out the urban farming stuff. But this is the cash cow that pays for it.
Yeah. I think that might be it, dog, to be honest.
Maybe.
Let's see what ChatGPT, how they would present it if we were to do it as a small business loan.
Yeah.
We're already here, might as well.
How would you present this business opportunity if you wanted to get an SBA loan of 15 to 20K to start this?
Yeah, because if we could get like 20K, then like I said, we could just get like a easy little greenhouse, set up a little thing, have the greenhouse, and then the what's it called? So then now it's like, okay, what are you guys doing? We're in greenhouses and we're creating sustainable internet infrastructure via hosting. And then because helium isn't dependent on it's not say dependent on money, but it's more dependent on the internet than anything. It's not really dependent on like not say it is, but it's not. But it's like as long as there's internet, helium can still do its thing. Because they have to have regular electricity. Because trying to do solar and shit like that would be too costly.
Cool. Probably gotta hop off here in a second.
Yeah,
but now here it's putting it together for us. Here's the business plan.
Holy shit. Okay. Let me see what the price of what. Do you mind beeping it up?
I love using like just fun ways to describe it because you get better outcomes when you like say things more fun.
Yeah, when you just give it the robotic answer, it's gonna give you robotic shit.
Exactly. So that it came up with a name for our company. We're Helium Mining Ventures. But if that's the case, can we be Haha Ventures? Because helium's laughing gas and whatever.
Hey, that'd be dope. And then just have little balloons.
Yeah. I don't know. He cool. Basically, it's just like it did all the BSy stuff to say like, hey, ISP providers are getting expensive, and this is a cheaper way to do that. Yada yada yada, which is great. That's the thing that needs to be in there so that the banker's like, well, why do I want to take this gamble on this cryptocurrency thing?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's not really a cryptocurrency thing. It's just using the crypto tech.
Yeah. For decentralized physical infrastructure.
Yeah, deep in, baby. What's
See?
not deep in though? At the same time.
I know, right?
All right.
But yeah, man, shit. Look like we might be getting into the healing. Hey, you guys saw it here live on Yumi ChatGPT. We went from, messing around with, oh yeah, we might do this, helium stuff to, oh, this actually might be a good idea to now we have a business plan to possibly take some steps. And helium, if you guys are watching this, we might even have to start tagging helium like, yo, what's up with the deals, man? We trying to start a helium mining operation. What's up?
Yeah. Give us a grant, give us a deal, give us a bundle. We're gonna plaster the Midwest and the heartland with helium miners. It'll
And then
be
I'll have a nickname called Helium
free
Rich.
internet and free speech.
Exactly. But yeah, now I'll change my name to, well, I won't change it, but I'll be like Helium Rich.
I like that. Also,
Rich, no dollars, and Helium Rich.
You're gonna be laughing all the way to the bank.
Hey, I would. What if we partnered with a balloon business and you could buy your helium? Oh my god! Look,
With
you know
helium,
what? We could do this all day, man. We could do this all day.
it's gonna be you're inflating those businesses' bottom lines.
Boom, boom. That's what we're here to do. Helium Ventures. We're here to inflate your bottom line. Let's go. On that note, Dr. Business, sign us off, man. Sign us off, man.
To the moon, y'all. Like, we're having a great week. Let's I don't know. Till next time, you, me, and ChatGPT, Rich No Dollars and Dr. Business.
Better get on it.
All right, guys.
Dope.